They say a mother's love has no limit. That is patient, that is kind. But they never tell you what happens when love is mixed with fear and when devotion turns into possession. This is the story of Mama Nkiru, a woman who loved her son with all her heart, yet almost lost him on the very day he was meant to begin a new life. Mama Nkiru was once a happy wife. She lived in a small town where neighbors knew one another and laughter still filled echoes in the evening. Her husband, Okafor, was a trader, not a rich man, but an honest one, and together they had one child. The boy they named Chinedu. Their joy did not last long. One rainy night, Okafor never returned home. An accident on the highway took his life instantly. By morning, Mama Nkiru became a widow. She was 29 years old. At the funeral, people cried with her. They told her she was strong. They told her God will help her. But when everyone left, when the compound became quiet again, she sat on the floor with her son asleep in her arms and whispered through her tears, "It is just you and I now." From that day on, Chinedu became her entire world. She woke before sunrise every day, carried basket to the market, sold vegetables under ash sun. When money was short, she skipped meals. When school fees were due, she borrowed and repaid slowly. She never complained, never remarried, never allowed another man into her life. Whenever people asked her why, she smiled and said, "My son is enough." And Chinedu grew up knew only one constant thing, his mother's sacrifice. She walked him to school every morning, waited for him outside the classroom, helped him with homework at night. When he fell sick, she did not sleep. When he cried, she cried more. And every night, before he slept, she whispers the same word, "You are all I have. Never leave me." At first, they sounded like love, but slowly they became a chain. Chinedu grew into a fine young man, polite, intelligent, hardworking. Teachers praised him, neighbors admired him. Mama Nkiru beamed with pride wherever she went. "That is my son," she would say, "my only treasure." When Chinedu gained admission into the university, she sold her last piece of land to support him. And when he graduated and got a good job in the city, she told everyone, "I trained him alone." But as his world expanded, as began to shrink, Chinedu started spending more time away. Work kept him late. Friends called him out. Mama Nkiru waited up at night, staring at the door. When he came home late, she scolded him softly. "You forgot I am alone," she would say. Then one evening, everything changed. Chinedu returned home with a smile that does not belong to him. "Mama," he said gently, "there is someone I want you to meet." Mama Nkiru looked at him. Her heart skipped. "Meet who?" "The woman I love." The word echoes in her ears. That night, she did not sleep. She imagined her home empty, her morning silent, her son calling another woman my love. By morning, fear had settled deep down inside her heart. Adaeze was kind, respectful, soft-spoken. She greeted Mama Nkiru properly, knelt down, brought gifts. But Mama Nkiru barely looked at her. She smiled with her lips, but her eyes remained cold. From that day on, nothing Adaeze did was ever enough. "She is too quiet. She is pretending. She wants to take my son away." These were the words Mama Nkiru repeated to herself. When Chinedu defended Adaeze, she cried, "But now you choose her over me?" Chinedu tried to explain, "Mama, I am not leaving you. I am only getting married." But Mama Nkiru heard only one thing: she is losing him. As wedding plans began, her behaviors changed. She complained constantly, find fault in everything. She insisted on choosing the wedding colors, the guest list, even Adaeze's dress. When Chinedu refused, she wept loudly. "After all I suffered for you." The home became heavy with tension. Late at night, Mama Nkiru sat alone in her room, staring at an old mirror. She touched her ear, her faded beauty, her lonely reflection, and in all that silence, a dangerous thought entered her mind. If I cannot most important woman in his life, then no one will be. On the morning of the wedding, the compound was alive with music and laughter. Guests arrived in colorful attires. Women danced. Men greeted one another. Adaeze was in her room, being dressed like a queen. Chinedu stood outside nervous but happy. Then the music stopped. Mama Nkiru stepped out of her room. She was wearing a white wedding gown, not traditional attire, not ceremonial clothes, a bridal gown. Gasps filled the air. People froze. Some laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke. Others whispered. Chinedu turned slowly, and when he saw his mother, his mind disappeared. "Mama," he said, his voice shaking, "what is this?" She lifted her chin proudly. "Today is our day too." Adaeze emerged at that moment. When she saw Mama Nkiru, her knees weakened. Tears filled her eyes. The crowd murmured. Shame, confusion, shocked. Mama Nkiru stood tall, unbothered. "I raised him. I survived for him. Why should I not wear white?" Chinedu felt his heart break, not from embarrassment, but from realization. He finally understood that his mother's love had crossed the line. He stepped forward and spoke firmly. "Mama, please go inside and change." Her face hardened. "If I remove this gown," she said, "then you are no longer my son." Silence fell. Chinedu looked at Adaeze, and her hands trembling and her tear-stained face. Then he looked back at his mother, and for the first time in his life, he chose differently. "Mama," he said quietly, "I will always respect you. I will always care for you. But today, I am choosing my wife." Mama Nkiru staggered. The words struck her like thunder. She looked around and saw something she had never seen before. Loneliness. Real, complete loneliness. She removed the veil slowly. Her hand shook. Without another word, she turned and walked back into her room. The door closed behind her. The wedding continued, but joy was mixed with pain. Adaeze cried quietly. Chinedu felt heavy, and in her room, Mama Nkiru sat on the floor. The white gown spread around her like a broken dream. That night, she fell sick. The next morning, Chinedu rushed her to the hospital. As she laid weak on the bed, she finally spoke the truth. "I was afraid," she whispered. "I thought I would disappear." Chinedu held her hand. "You are my mother," he said, "but you must let me live." Tears rolled down her face. Months later, Mama Nkiru moved closer to Chinedu's and Adaeze's, not inside their home, but near enough to visit. She learned to let go, slowly, painfully. And so the story teaches us this: love should protect, not imprison. Care should guide, not control. Because even the deepest love, when driven by fear, can destroy the very thing it tries to hold. Kindly like, comment, and subscribe.